Hi, this is Janet Wakeland with Remarkably.com and the Remarkable Stampers. Today I am beyond excited to share with you My Digital Studio 2. This is a new and enhanced version of My Digital Studio that features over 75 new upgrades to the program. There are several different ways that you're going to be able to get your hands on My Digital Studio beginning today. First and foremost, my favorite one is where you can get $625 in product approximately for $99, and that is if you decide to join my team. Today you can select My Digital Studio 2 as one of the items in your kit, and then you're also going to be able to select from the over 31 My Digital Studio items that are on sale this month. You're going to get a free artist tray, and then all of that comes to $99. So you're going to get $600 or more in product for just $99 when you join my team this month. And then you'll be able to work your Stampin' Up! Business the way that you want to, and I can talk to you a lot more about that. And I would love to have you on my team of remarkable stampers. Another way that you can get My Digital Studio 2 is that you can simply upgrade from your My Digital Studio to My Digital Studio 2 for $19.95. If you don't own My Digital Studio, you can purchase the new program for $79.95 with the over $500 in content. For those of you, however, who own the basic My Digital Studio but have never purchased any other downloads for it, you may want to take a look at the content in My Digital Studio 2 because it is different than 1, and with the over $500 value in the content, the $79.95 for the full program is actually a really good deal as well for you. So a couple of different ways, but again, the absolute best deal is over $600 in My Digital Studio content product or other product of your choice for just $99, along with an absolutely amazing artist tray that I'm going to help you design some custom inserts for. So let's go ahead and let's jump right in and let's take a look at My Digital Studio 2. When we look at My Digital Studio and we open it, one of the first things that you're going to notice that's a little bit different is the background colors. A little bit sharper, a little bit crisper, a little bit more contrast, which is great for those of us who like to work late into the night and some of us who are in the baby boomer generation and beyond. So initial change for you. When you look at new projects and you go ahead and select, you're going to see two other immediately different items. The first one is designer templates. This is one-stop shopping, where you're going to be able to see all of the kits, different books, different things like that that you have ordered and purchased in one place. Sometimes you can't remember if that Royal Day kit was a 12 by 12 square or 5 by 5. Instead of having to open each one of the different types of projects individually, you can come here and you're going to be able to quickly search for a designer kit that you own so that you can go ahead and put it to immediate use. Another thing that you're going to see on that new project screen is you're going to see custom. And this is something that I am just excited about. It's going to allow you to create a custom size in either inches or in pixels. This is going to make it extremely easy to make a very customized Facebook timeline picture. You're going to be able to order really quickly and easily very specific items from places that do custom printing because you're going to be able to type in their recommended pixels or their recommended size and know that your finished product is going to upload to them for printing in a very quality way. So that's a great thing for you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a project that we got for free as part of our I Am Digital class at convention because it's going to allow me to kind of spotlight visually some of the things that I want to share with you today. And what we're going to do to make it easy is I'm simply going to move along the different toolbars showing you the various features. I did teach a class on this last week, and I am going to be in Youngstown, Ohio this week, Lafayette, Louisiana in mid-August, and then I will be in Terre Haute, Indiana in late August teaching My Digital Studio. So if you're close to any of those areas, contact me because I would love to give you a hands-on in-person tutorial on My Digital Studio 2. So it's a big project. It's taking just a few seconds to load. And just a reminder, there are 75 new features in My Digital Studio. Not all of them will be immediately available when you purchase My Digital Studio because they did want to get it into our hands sooner versus later. And so what will happen is the additional features, as they become available, will be available as free upgrades. And when those are announced, you simply go to your help button, click on check for updates, and those updates will automatically be added into My Digital Studio in their appropriate places. So working from left to right, one of the very first things that you're going to notice is under Insert. Under Insert, there is a global search feature, and what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to search all of the elements. Previously, you were only allowed to search embellishments by themselves, stamps by themselves, punches, etc., and you had no way of searching background papers. So now what's going to happen is you're going to tell it which areas you want to search. You're going to type in what it is that you're looking for, color, button, a certain name of something, and then what's going to happen is anything that's identified as quote-unquote being red, for example, that I'm searching, is going to show up in any one of these 4 categories, and now I'm going to be able to go ahead and find the different things that I need or I want to work with, and it's going to allow me to better utilize all of the items that I've purchased, because I no longer have to know them by name. I just have to know, oh, this page would look so cool with a button. I can type in button, or I can say, oh my gosh, I remember something with the name Daisy in it, and I can type that in and see what comes up. So the global search feature is going to be a great help for you to actually get your money's worth of the things that you've downloaded. Under View, something here that you're going to be able to see. Well, actually, wait a minute. I'm under View. Nope, sorry, next one. Project. Under Project, under Check Project, you can check for spelling. But in addition, something else wonderful is you're going to have this page supply list. And it's going to be able to quickly show you every single thing that you've used on that supply list, so that when your friends say, oh my gosh, what download was that? I'd love to purchase it. If you're a demonstrator, or when you become a demonstrator and customers say to you, oh my gosh, what was that? I'd like to use it. It's going to be here for you. But in addition to being able to see the supply list, you're able to highlight it. You're able to copy that list and take it out of there and use it in something. So that's another great feature. Now, looking at our middle timeline, one of the things that you're going to see that's different are 2 of our icons. The camera is a slightly different shape than before, and then the rubber stamp looks like the traditional wood blocks that we love so much. And so you're going to have those icons there on this. And then one other new feature on this toolbar is something called Manage Layers. Traditionally, in the old My Digital Studio world, you would right-click and you would slowly bring things forwards or backwards, which could be a very time-consuming process depending on how many layers you had, and sometimes it didn't even look like the item was moving, and so you just gave up or figured you were doing something wrong. With Manage Layers, what's going to happen is, we'll click on Layers, is it's going to show me the order in which I added all of the layers. It's going to show me when I click on it what that layer actually is. Those are whisper white, they're not showing up well. And then I'm going to be able to move that layer to someplace else if I would like. And one of the features that I like is it maintains the numbering of that. It doesn't change the numbers even though I've now changed the order. So it's going to move those layers around very quickly and easy for you. So it's going to be another time-saving feature for you. So we're just going to click OK on that. So now coming over here to our Design Center, let's start to take a look again at some of the other options that are available to us. We're going to be able to, we're not going to work with background papers. Let's start with our photos here for a second. One of my favorite ways to work with background paper, and pretty much the only way that I work with background paper when I'm adding it, is I tend to add it in what's called a photo box. And what's nice when you do that is when you add your background paper into a photo box, it gives you all of the features of photos. Now we have a new feature that's going to be amazing. We are going to be able to recolor our background paper when we use it in a photo box. So now I have this beautiful squiggly red paper, but I actually want it to be Bermuda Bay. And so I'm going to touch on that, and I'm going to be able to do that. Interestingly enough, you're going to be able to do the same thing for your photos. So instead of just having the black and white and the sepia option, you're now going to also be able to recolor your photos the same way. You're going to be able to do some really cool, funky Andy Warhol kind of looking things with your photos and stuff like that. So that's really something that is going to be a lot of fun for you to work with under the photo options. When we look at our texting, we're going to get a lot of neat options here under your text option. We're going to get the ability to do tracking, which has to do with line spacing and letter spacing. There's a lot of creative things with fonts out there nowadays, Subway art and such, and with our columns and our tracking, our ability to do vertical types of spacing and things like that. We're going to be able to do some really neat things with our text and texting in general. With our embellishments, some new features that are happening with our embellishments, and let me just pull, I'll just pull a brad over. It's kind of simple round circle, but it's still just something for you to look at. With our brad, something new is we're going to be able, or with our embellishments, something new is we're going to be able to recolor them into any color that we want. And not only the single embellishments, but within the designer kits, when they provide different embellishments for us, we're going to be able to recolor those as well. Something to note when you're recoloring these is that it doesn't recolor, like you can't recolor the red and the green on this. Instead, when I opt to recolor this, and I'm going to choose our Taken with Teal again, you're going to see shading of that Taken with Teal. So when you have something color, it recolors it monochromatically, but variations of that color that you chose. But you're still going to be able to recolor it, which is wonderful. And then another feature is you're going to be able to crop. So you're going to be able to come in and you're going to be able to take out pieces to work with. So that's going to be wonderful. And that works again on any of our embellishments. So that's a new feature there. Within our punches, something that you have in the punch world that's going to be a lot of fun for you, and let's just have a punch here for you, is that you're going to be able to quickly fill with photos. So you click on that, and then you go to your file folders, and you're going to be able to quickly add a photo to that. In addition, and let me just make this photo a color real quick, or this punch a color real quick so that you can see what I'm doing. Let's just make it soft suede. In addition, say I'm working with this square and I decide, oh, you know, I really don't like a square punch there. I wonder what different shape would be there. So instead of moving that off to the side and going to find a new one, you're going to be able to quickly change a shape. And what's going to be wonderful is it's going to change it right in the place that you had it. And so you can just kind of keep working and going down and finding a punch shape and saying, oh, do I like this one? Don't I like that one? So it's kind of like taking 4 or 5 outfits into the changing room and having them right there in the changing room and trying them on. You don't have to run out on the floor to find a new outfit to wear. And so that's going to be another great feature for you. And then something else that's going to be great with the punches, and I hope it works. For some reason, sometimes I struggle with this, and I don't know if it's just because this is the beta version, but it did work in our class that we were at last Tuesday. So let's just, you know, type a whole bunch of stuff. So something else fun that's going to be able to happen is I'm going to be able to right click on that box. I'm going to click on my shape, and then when I right click, okay, let's do this again, and let's click on this, and now let me, okay, I don't know what's going on because I'm not touch anything. Right click. See this down here, attached to shape? If I attach to shape, it moves my text into the shape, and it moves it into the form of the shape. So in other words, if I had a lot of texting, it would have conformed to the half circle. If you have a star, your text is going to be in a star shape. If you have a stocking, again, stocking shapes and things like that. So you're going to be able to add your text into the shape, into the configuration of that shape, which is another really cool feature. Now moving on to our stamps. A feature that you're going to have with your stamps, and let's just pick any old stamp to add for just a second. This page is absolutely starting to look kind of crazy and wild, but we're just going to go ahead and we're going to pick a shape. So we've got a stamp here. First off, we have this splatter, and we're going to be able to add all kinds of cool backgrounds with splatter, add these behind our stamps and stuff like that, and they're just quickly handy right on the Design Center. You don't have to go looking for them under the stamps. In addition, we're going to be able to color our stamps. And so we're going to be able to click on our coloring. We're going to pick a color ink. You're going to pick your brush size. And now you're going to be able to color your image. Let me just make this open. So now I'm going to be able to color. And oops, I guess it would help if I changed it actually. And what's really nice is you can't go outside of the line. So somebody like myself who did not do well in kindergarten with coloring, it's nice to not be able to go outside the lines. With the exception of every now and then you want a softness around the edges, but you're not going to be able to do that. You have to still use the drop shadow for that. But again, you can see I can just quickly color and just kind of make sure that I'm just going back over, but you don't go outside the line. So that's an absolutely wonderful feature. And let me bring up this change color for a second, because while I have it up, it's going to be able to show you another absolutely couple of wonderful features. First, you are going to be able to configure the colors in any way that you want by simply dragging and sliding them along. So if you're somebody who likes all of your yellows and then all of your reds and then all of your blues together, you're going to be able to do that. If there's another way that you like to group them alphabetically, whatever works for you, you're going to be able to do that and save that. In addition, we now have the watermark feature that's going to work on your embellishments, your stamps. So you're going to be able to soften them up and make them look like a watermark tone on tone. It's also going to work with your texting. So you're going to be able to quickly and easily add watermark features to objects of art that you create. The other really, really cool feature is that you now have this combos. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to pick a color, and it's going to give me color combinations right here on my screen. And I can just keep clicking that if I don't like those colors. Okay, and I can just simply do that, and then I can add them to my favorites, and then I will have them. And I can also just say, surprise me, pick something cool for me, tell me, like colors I hadn't even thought of. So just surprise me, pick 5 colors that would be really fun to work with. So you're going to have your color combo or your color swatch book right there in front of you. So really, really cool features under Choose Colors. Okay, so that's going to be available for you. So again, really cool stuff. And then again, With your stamps, you're going to be able to crop images out as well, too, because there are times when you want a certain word. There's times when you want just part of a flower, part of a bench or, image or whatever, and you're going to be able to crop, so that's going to be a wonderful feature for you. Freeform is a whole new category. Freeform basically is going to allow you to, sign your name. It's going to allow you, if you're an artist, to draw and to work. You have different brush sizes that you're going to be able to work with. You're going to be able to erase what you work with, and here's your different, circle, half circle, square. And then the other neat feature here is this line feature. And you have different types of lines that you're going to start with, your zigzag and your wave, and you're going to be able to move them. Anywhere there's a point that you see a square like that, you're going to be able to reshape those and work with them in different directions. And you're going to have your circle and your zigzag. And these are what you're going to be able to add your text to, and I'll show you, so that you can go ahead and you can write in circles and in squares and in things like that. And then in addition, you're going to be able to change your line style and or add a line. Let me just add a line first. So we're just add that line on here. Okay, so now I have my line, and let's make it bigger so you can see it. And you're going to be able to change that line of the style, whether it's a straight line, a wave, a zigzag, or a circle. You're now going to be able to change that and give it a stitching look and a zigzag look. And just as we did before, you can go ahead and do some other changes to it. So again, by working on the points and things like that. Okay, so that whole freeform section is going to open up a whole lot of creative opportunities, especially for those of you who have a great talent for drawing and have beautiful penmanship and things like that. Again, some more other features down here on the side. We have Check Project. It's going to give you that supply list here as well. Check your spelling, check for any errors. It's going to give you a chance to preview it, but it's also going to give you the details, the megabytes, the size of it, how long that video is that you're working on. And so if you have very big space limitations or sizes, this is going to help you stay within those constraints. Some other cool new features under Share Projects. You are now going to be able to export as a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF. What that's going to give you the ability to do is, maybe you've already created this zigzag line of text. You're going to be able to save that group and export it as a PNG file and keep it in a folder, and now you can bring it back into a new project later. Change the words that you wrote, change the size of it or whatever, but you're literally creating your own digital downloads because you can export them as PNG and bring them back in, so that's really cool. And then of course the ability to create newsletters, full business cards or whatever, save them as PDFs and export. And then the one thing that they didn't explain to us, but I just am anticipating greatness from, is this export to SVG. This is a file that is used with electronic cutters. Your Crickets, your Cuddlebugs, your Gypsies, not Cuddlebugs, your e-cutters, Gypsies, things like that. And so you're going to have the ability to export different images and files as an SVG file for cutting purposes. And then they've simplified the ordering process. You're going to be able to order very quickly and very easily from Stampin' Up's professional printers with that simple click of a button by ordering from here or from ordering up at the top. So that's some great features for you. So I by no means touched on each and every single feature of what's coming in My Digital Studio 2, but hopefully the features that I did touch on are enough to create that need for My Digital Studio 2 for you. And again, I just want to extend the opportunity for you to join my team and get the best deal out there currently on My Digital Studio by selecting it as part of your kit. I will be continuing to offer training, and I will be available for my teammates for one-on-one training, and customers just watch for lots and lots of My Digital Studio classes coming, because there is a lot to learn. And in addition, mydigitalstudio.net is a great resource for you. So I thank you for watching today, and I look forward to answering any of the questions or helping you experience the wonder of My Digital Studio 2 as well. Have a great day, and God bless.